Welcome back to absolutely the best podcast of work in progress. I'm Zach, and with me, as always, is my good friend George.
What is that breezy intro?
my NPR voice.
I was like, that's smooth.
I don't think I could do a whole show that way, though. This is Series 1, Episode 19, and today we are talking about Thor Ragnarok from November 3rd, 2017. After we discuss the movie, we will figure out where to place it in our MCU movie ranking and our mission to figure out which one is absolutely the best. As a reminder, we assume the listener has seen the movie before, and of course, there will be spoilers. You want to go first on the movie memories, or you want me to?
I think you can.
Anyway. Also, sorry, I'm still stuffy. So this one, I waited about a week to see it. I did a matinee date with the wife. Based on the number of tickets I purchased in the theater I purchased them from. She does not go to the regular cinema. We got to go to the fancy one. I mostly just remember enjoying it and coming out of it positive. On rewatch, I verify that the movie looks and sounds great. It is not without its issues, but I still do enjoy it very much. I did also try to listen to the director commentary to get some additional insight into the movie, and it turned out that he was super annoying, and I gave up after like 5 minutes. It was just him, Taika Waititi, and he's just like trying to crack jokes the whole time, and most of them weren't landing for me, so I didn't bother on this one. So sorry, I didn't do all my homework.
Totally fine. I didn't even watch these extras. I don't know. I worry that it'll change things for me and how I experience the movie.
That can happen.
Yeah, especially if it's like, oh, that scene was so awesome. Like, why'd you cut it?
Yeah. Usually with the extras, I understand why they cut it. And actually, I did watch some of the extras on this, and I'll get into some of those. And there's an example here where I'm like, yeah, I'm glad the theatrical cut was the way that it was.
Sorry, that was against my better judgment. I took a peek at the Snyder cut of Rebel Moon, and that does not apply to
why is there even a Snyder cut though? Like, it was Netflix. He was given free reign to do whatever the fuck he wanted. Why didn't he do it the first time?
I don't know. And it's not better.
I'm sure it's not.
The opening scene for Rebel Moon, I was like, as soon as I started watching it, I was like, why is this? I just stopped. I couldn't finish it. I couldn't do it to myself again. Yeah.
Anyways, what were your memories about Thor Ragnarok?
Honestly, I remember loving Thor Ragnarok. Just everything about it, the humor, the irreverence, the banter. I remember, I think just even with like the opening scene, it was just one of those like, oh, this is a totally different approach to the MCU and stuff. And I actually personally liked it like a lot. And I feel like a lot of people did. I will say that I was worried about watching it again for like, this is, I think, the 6th time, because when I rewatch these, I think I approach it with a little bit more of a critical eye.
Yeah, and definitely for the show.
Yeah, especially for this, right? And not that it takes anything away from the first time watching it, but definitely you start seeing the cracks in everything when you watch it again for however many times. But I mean, overall, I just remember really liking this. I remember going, oh, Taika Waititi, that makes sense, and then seeing all his other stuff, like What We Do in the Shadows and stuff, like all that was pretty great. I still really love Thor Ragnarok. I'm actually really curious where the two of us land on where this falls in the order. This might be one of our more contested. We might actually be playing for the Infinity War trivia on this one. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get into who made Thor Ragnarok. It's the 17th movie in the MCU series, written by 3 people: Eric Pearson, Craig Kyle, and Christopher L. Yost. Pearson was a writer on Spider-Man: Homecoming and Ant-Man. He's also I suppose it's written. He's a writer on Thunderbolts, and then he's also writing Fantastic Four and the new Blade movie, if that ever comes out. Craig Kyle wrote Thor and Thor 2, amongst other things, and Christopher L. Yost was a writer on Thor 2. And that one sounded familiar. The other ones did not.
Thor 2 sounding familiar?
And no, the writers.
Oh.
um,
I was like, not such a good look because we didn't like Thor 2 very well.
The movie is directed by Taika Waititi. You mentioned What We Do in the Shadows, which is pretty great. He also later obviously did Love and Thunder, which I think was good, but we'll see if that holds up on rewatch. But I know a lot of people hate that movie. Some people think it's the worst one. I don't know.
I don't think it's the worst one, but it's definitely not better than Ragnarok.
I am inclined to agree with you at this point. Yes, but I'm not certain right now. Also, Taika Waititi does the voice and the motion capture for Korg. The what's he, a Cronin? Is that what he?
Cronin, yeah.
He's like the big rock monster. And he said that the voice that he did for Korg was influenced by Riz Darby. Or Reese Darby?
I don't know who that
is pronounced? Yeah. You don't know who that is? Flight of the Conchords, the manager.
Mm.
Like, he basically talks exactly like Korg does. And I can totally see that influence there, or hear it, I guess. He also did the motion capture for Surtur at the beginning and the end of the movie. The big lava monster looking guy. Yeah.
So he's yoked because Surtur at the end was super yoked. I guess it's just motion capture.
Yes, just motion capture. But like that's the kind of jokes he was making in the commentary. He's like saying like, he was like, well, I actually had to be set on fire for this and stuff. And I was just like, man, this is not working for me. So I gave up. We don't usually talk about the score, but I want to talk about it here because I love the music in this movie. It's so good.
Yeah.
The score was done by Mark Mothersbaugh. Yeah. He's a founder of Devo, which I was, I guess, not surprised to hear because that's fitting, but I had no idea. And he also did music for Pee-wee's Playhouse.
That I didn't know.
Yeah. I mean, plus a bunch of other stuff, but we'll be here all night if we're talking about that. But check out his credits sometimes. There's a lot of interesting things that he's worked on. Let's get to the main characters. In Thor Ragnarok, we have a lot of repeats here. So reprising the roles, Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, Idris Elba as Heimdall, Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner / the Hulk, Sir Anthony Hopkins as Odin, and Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, which is almost a cameo in this movie, but he's got a good 7 minutes of screen time, maybe something like that. But we have some new characters. Cate Blanchett plays the part of Hela. Hela is the oldest of Odin's children and the goddess of death. She's the film's main antagonist, and she looks amazing here.
Yeah. I disagree.
Yeah. Cate Blanchett is probably best known to nerds for her role as Galadriel in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. She's always great. I haven't seen everything she's done, but anything I've seen her in, I've liked her in. Jeff Goldblum plays the Grandmaster. He's kind of the... What's that?
Let's say, speaking of always great.
Yeah, exactly. He's kind of the side antagonist, but in a friendly and fun way. He's an Elder of the Universe. I don't even know what that is. Is that something in the comics?
I don't know.
I don't know.
That part I didn't know.
That came out of the Wikipedia. But anyways, he's the ruler of Sakaar, which is kind of the trash planet that Thor finds himself on at one point. He is the brother of the Collector, Tanlir Tivan, which I knew but forgot. And his thing is to have gladiator-style fights in his arena, and he calls this the Contest of Champions. It's a phenomenal role for Jeff Goldblum. He absolutely nails the part. Great actor, love him and everything. Couple favorites: Invasion of the Body Snatchers, The Fly, and of course Jurassic Park. Everybody loves him in that.
Yeah. God, The Fly was so long ago, and that was so great.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched that fairly recently, and it holds up. Cronenberg does some great work there. Tessa Thompson plays the role of Valkyrie, who is the last remaining Valkyrie, which were an army of Asgardian female soldiers sworn to protect the crown, or protect the throne, however you want to interpret that. She's a great actress. It's a great character. I like her a lot. And I'm glad that the character comes back and makes significant appearances in the other MCU movies, many other MCU movies. We also have Carl Urban, who's a favorite of mine. He plays Scourge, and he's kind of a shitbird of a character, but he redeems himself in the end. I like him in pretty much everything he does. I'm dying to cover Dread.
I'm dying to get for us to get to the boys.
No, so many things I want to cover.
Right.
Okay, so let's get to the main discussion.
Yeah.
It's 2 years after the Battle of Sokovia. Thor is imprisoned by the fire demon Surtur. Is that how it's pronounced?
Surtur.
Yeah, Surtur. Yeah. That's not an easy one. Of importance here, we find out that Odin is no longer on Asgard, according to Surtur, and that the realm of Asgard will soon be destroyed by Ragnarok, or in Ragnarok. I guess Ragnarok is an event. An event. Yeah. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. So if Surtur can unite his crown with the eternal flame in Odin's vault, that'll bring about Ragnarok, and Asgard will be destroyed. Thor ends up getting free with a little help from Mjolnir and beats Surtur and takes his crown, thereby preventing Ragnarok for now, anyway.
Right.
So, what did you think about this opening?
I'm chuckling because I know how we already kind of touched on this at the end of Deadpool, but to me, it's really one of my more favorite opening scenes in the MCU. Not to get too religious here, but it really plays into my belief that beings of great power do not just sit around in the ether waiting for you to just declare 10 Hail Marys and an Our Father mm-hmm. In their name. It isn't obvious by now. I was born and raised a Catholic. But, speaking of beings with unfathomable amount of power, I think Nick Fury says it really great, right? He's the kind, like he calls Thor and the Asgardians like the kind of beings that look on humans as nothing more than ants. Mm-hmm. And there's really two extremes that would fall into, and that's the crazy, ridiculous, delusional, powerful assholes like Ego, who just want to do their thing in, Guardians of the Galaxy. Mm-hmm. Or beings with great amount of humor, which I feel like this kind of leans into very well. So like, if you've been around for so long and nothing can really affect you, how do you not just take everything as kind of like a joke? And so, I don't know. Okay. I really loved the immigrant song in the background, and I think I read somewhere that
was that playing at the beginning? Because I know it's playing at the end.
Yeah, it was playing at the beginning too. Because right when like
when he's fighting dragon, everybody. Yeah.
When he starts fighting everybody.
Yeah.
But I think I read somewhere that his proposal was basically his pitch for Thor, like. That was the song that he was playing in the background of like the storyboarding or something. Okay. I don't know. I loved everything from the beginning when he was like,
Thor, son of Odin. Surtur, son of a bitch, you're still alive.
And he's like, you're still alive. And he was like, I thought my father killed you like 500,000 years ago. And it's just like, from the beginning, it's like, you know how long Thor and Odin have been around, and the banter just really, I think, just sets the tone for the entire thing about how like this movie is going to be a total deviation from the tone of the other MCU movies. So yeah, sorry, long TLDR.
No, I loved it. Good. I thought the opening was a little unnecessarily silly. I didn't love it, although I did laugh. You reminded me of that line, like the son of a bitch. that was funny. But like, I didn't like, why is he talking to the skeleton? Like obviously it's for exposition,
right?
But it just seemed, I don't know, it seemed weird to me. So for me, right off the bat, it wasn't holding up. I also I don't like Surtur's voice.
Really?
He's voiced by Clancy Brown, who I love. That guy's great.
Yeah. Pet Sematary, right? That Clancy.
Is he in that? He might be in that, but he's not the old guy in that. If that's what you're thinking. No. Who are you thinking about?
I thought he was. I could swear he was in it.
He's the head prison guard in Shawshank Redemption.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he was in Pet Sematary.
Who was he in Pet Sematary?
Wait,
I don't remember that now.
Actually, hold on, let me
the new one or the old one?
the old one.
Okay,
I
good.
could swear he was. Let me just
All right.
double. I'm gonna have to double check later.
Yeah. Anyways, it was Pet Cemetery 2. I really like him a lot, but for some reason the voice didn't sound right here. It was like too doofy or something. I don't know. It didn't seem to fit the look of the creature. And I didn't like when Thor's fighting all of Surtur's minions. I don't know what you'd call them. They looked like hot coal monsters.
Right.
But they're like clearly getting a hold of him, and like it doesn't even burn him or anything. I don't know.
But that's because he's Thor.
I guess so. On the plus side, I do think it's good setup for the rest of the movie. You know, we have the exposition, or we have the information given to us that if Surtur puts the crown in the eternal flame on Asgard, then he'll grow as big as a mountain and then presumably bring about Ragnarok. When Thor mentions that Odin is guarding the flame, Surtur says Odin isn't in Asgard, which was an interesting way to bring that up as well.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering how he knew and Thor didn't know.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. I was focusing on other complaints. So after defeating Surtur, Thor asks for an assist from Heimdall to get back to Asgard. But Heimdall is a traitor to the throne and disappeared before the trial. So Scourge is in charge of the Bifrost now. And Scourge eventually heeds Thor's call, bringing him back to Asgard. So that was all fine, except I don't like how Scourge has his two, I don't know what they're some sort of
groupies. The two group. Oh,
no,
Thor
the groupies are fine.
Des and Troy.
The two guns that he has, and he calls them Des and Troy, and I thought that was kind of lame, but I guess that's fitting for the character. But yeah, it is pretty funny when the dragon head comes through, just the head comes through the Bifrost and makes a mess of things. So that was good.
I love Karl Urban, like the boys in Judge Dredd. We've already mentioned those, but I'm just kind of torn about how to feel about his turn as Scourge. Mostly because I don't understand why Heimdall would just disappear and leave. You know what I mean? Like, if assuming that he disappeared because he knew that was Loki and not Odin.
Yeah.
And Loki pretending it, right? And then so he would just disappear and leave Asgard alone with just Loki and Scourge and in their positions and stuff. Like, Hela hasn't appeared yet. And like Thor 2, the entire thing about Thor 2 was he helped the Warriors 3 and Sif and Thor rebel against Odin.
Right. That was the treason.
Right. And so he had no problem doing that.
Right.
Right.
Well, so I think the thing is he knows that Odin isn't Odin and that is Loki. Yeah. And so he has no chance of any kind of a fair trial or a pardon. So what else is he supposed to do?
That's what I'm saying, is like everybody trusts him too. And if he says that he can see that that's Loki, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I just
why don't people believe him? You mean like why didn't he just say?
Why didn't he just start a rebellion? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like,
would have been a shorter movie.
Like the Warriors 3 and Sif, like all four of them could have banded together and probably would have been able to turn things around. I just thought it was just weird that they didn't do anything to fight back against Loki.
Yeah. Speaking of Sif, oh sorry, go ahead.
No, that was just it.
Speaking of Sif, where was she in this movie?
She was busy filming another TV series. I think it's the one that where her character has like a bunch of like tattoos or something.
Oh, that's the same actress. It is right.
Same actress, yeah.
Yeah. I can totally see it in my head now. I think I watched like an episode of that and just kind of forgot about it. But
yeah,
yes, that sounds familiar. Yeah. Interesting.
So that's my gripe about Scourge as a character. I just didn't feel like he needed to be there. I
agree with you. I don't like the character. Like he seems like a shitty person, but he redeems himself in the end. So
yeah.
I'm okay with it. But I do prefer Karl Urban in other films.
Okay.
Upon returning to Asgard, we learn that Loki is pretending to be Odin, and this leads to several funny moments.
Oh my God. Even before that, when Scourge is telling them, like, wait, I got to announce you. And Thor's just like, yeah, I'm just going to take off. And then like Karl Urban's like sighs and then just starts jogging.
Yeah, that was great. That was pretty funny.
That cracked me up so much.
I like the play about the events of Thor 2,
Yep.
where we have Luke Hemsworth as playing the part of Thor, and Matt Damon is playing the part of Loki, and they have Sam Neill as Odin. Like, that whole thing is great. And Luke Hemsworth is a lot bigger than I remember him being in this. Like, he was a pretty good size.
What's he been in? I don't really.
Just like from my memory of this scene, I thought he was just like, kind of regular size, but his arms were looking pretty jacked. I love it when Thor shows up and he already knows the deal, right? And so he tells Odin, who's really Loki, he's like,
Father?
Oh shit.
Odin's just like, oh shit. Like, that delivery was great.
I was just actually thinking about this earlier. Like, Anthony Hopkins is so amazing because he does the Loki version of Odin so well, and then
yes,
it's like a switch goes off because his next scene with the brothers and where he's on that cliffside, he's so much more somber and so much more like just serious.
Yes, that was like my next note exactly was that. I mean, that's fine. I'm glad you brought it up, but that Anthony Hopkins does a great job imitating Tom Hiddleston pretending to be Odin, or Tom Hiddleston as Loki pretending to be Odin. Yeah, I love that. It was awesome. I do have one small complaint here. Thor's.
Oh, no, what? This was like a near perfect scene for me.
Well, it's a small complaint. So Thor's tossing Mjolnir and catching it, and it's like it's way too light. Like, they need to give him a heavy hammer. Like, you can tell that it weighs nothing.
But isn't that the thing? Remember how like when Vision was like, it's ridiculously balanced.
Yeah, but it doesn't even look like it's
like a hammer.
Yeah, I know. It threw me off a little bit. It's like when people are drinking coffee in scenes and you can tell that the cup is empty, right? Like, just put some water in it, man.
Yeah. To your note, I remember staring at it and going, that doesn't move like a hammer. But my head was like, it really can't because it's Mjolnir. Or I was excusing it as it's Mjolnir, so it doesn't have to behave like a regular hammer.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in my head, I was just picturing like it probably feels more like a baton, and whenever he swings it or throws it, then the power is like, I don't know, centralized in the head of the hammer when it's actually being used. That.
It is a very small complaint. It does not really factor into my ultimate ranking, I don't think. It's just something that stood out to me.
Yeah, I loved Matt Damon as Loki. It was just like so hilarious, especially when he's like telling Luke Hemsworth, "Build a statue of me. Put the horns on. Put the helmet with the horns on it."
Yes,
and that was like when Thor landed and then saw the statue and was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah. He's like, "It's not weaselly enough."
Yeah.
So after proving to the people of Asgard that it was Loki posing as Odin, they go to New York City to get Odin out of the old folks' home that Loki put him in, but it's gone. And notably here, Doctor Strange helps them locate Odin in exchange for Thor getting Loki out of there.
How did you like the scene?
For the most part, I liked it quite a bit. I don't even know if I have complaints here. But I liked seeing Loki and Thor in normal street clothes and Mjolnir as an umbrella. That was interesting. I also thought it was funny when he goes to see Doctor Strange at first, and Strange is like, "Sorry to hear Jane dumped you," and Thor's like, "It was a mutual dumping, huh?"
Oh, Doctor Strange said it was the girls on the street said that.
Yeah, that's right. Wait, how did they recognize? Well, I guess in street clothes they could still recognize him. Yeah, that's what it was.
It's hard not to recognize Chris Hemsworth being all yoked and like the long hair and stuff.
Yeah, but it was a mutual dumping. that was good.
Yes. Yeah, that was the problem. My problem with Love and Thunder, they overdid that whole like that whole thing.
The relationship.
The relationship thing with him and Jane.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to rewatch it, and I will at some point.
Oh, we will. We'll get there. Yeah. So my main gripe isn't necessarily with this movie, but more with Doctor Strange and how I feel like they underutilize him in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was totally manhandling Thor and Loki.
Yeah.
Without even trying. Like, not even breaking a sweat.
That was yeah.
You know what I mean? And it made me remember how, like, hey, even in Thor 1, he was portaling like creating small portals, throwing his hand in it, grabbing stuff, and then like pulling it out right behind Wong's back without
Right.
Wong even knowing, right? And like so I started thinking like, why didn't he just put the Vision in the mirror dimension, or like why didn't he put Thanos in the mirror dimension, or there's all these things that he could have done that they didn't do at all in Endgame or Infinity War.
You're
So I
gonna
just kinda
ruin
felt
Infinity War and Endgame now.
I mean, maybe I'm overthinking it, but like that was just kind of where
Yeah.
my head was at. Like, and then also I think there was a scene where he just goes, "I'm gonna need a lock of your hair," and then he just yanks it off of Thor's head.
Yeah.
And I figure with Thor being as near invulnerable as he is, like, wouldn't you need like a magic axe or a magic blade to just cut his hair off?
I
You
don't
know what
know.
I mean?
Yeah.
So
That's-
I don't know. Those are like really tiny nitpicks, but overall, like I love this scene. I even like the part where like he reminds Thor to not to forget his umbrella,
Yes.
and then Thor's just like, "Ooh, sorry."
Yeah, and it's like wrecking everything.
And you just can hear it wrecking the house in the back.
You said the thing about the strand of hair, though. I could have sworn that was so there was like a longer alternate version of the scene. I thought that was only in that version, but it was in the regular cut. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, because that was something that wasn't. I didn't need it to be clear, but it wasn't super clear to me how Stephen Strange located Odin. And as a matter of fact, I think the way that it's cut in the film, in the theatrical version, it seems like he already knows where Odin is when Thor arrives. But in this longer alternate version, I thought he uses the hair to locate Odin. But maybe I'm misremembering that now. I don't know.
The version I watched is the Disney Plus one. So,
Yeah.
So if that, and I thought that
Well,
was
this
the
was like
theatrical cut
like
too.
deleted scenes, and it was like it was just that. I didn't watch like a different cut of the entire
I
movie.
mean, I assumed the same thing you did, which is he used the hair to locate Odin.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely clear in that alternate take. So maybe I just didn't pick up on it. Also in that alternate take, he finds Loki in a porta potty later on, which I thought was weird. It was like a magical porta potty, though. He needed a special key from Doctor Strange to open it up for him to be in there.
That feels like a Taika thing.
Yeah. So I much prefer the way it was done in the theatrical cut.
Yeah. I love that part where he's like, "I've been falling for 30 minutes."
Yes. Yeah. That was like way funnier, right?
Yeah.
So Stephen Strange sling rings Thor and Loki to Norway, where Odin is waiting. And importantly, Odin says that he's dying and Ragnarok is imminent because, he failed to mention that they have an older sister, Hela, the goddess of death, the leader of the Asgard army, or the former leader, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
She got overzealous and Odin had to lock her away. And he says that when he dies, Hela will be free and her powers will be limitless. And then he dies and then she's freed. So I had a question for you actually in this. Does this also happen in the comics? Is Hela?
No.
Okay.
So, I mean, she is the goddess of death in the comics,
right,
but
okay. She's not Thor's sister.
I don't think so, but she's not like this powerful in the,
okay.
I mean, she is really powerful, but she's not like destroy Mjolnir powerful, which was kind of I mean, and Odin hasn't died in the comic books either. I think they alluded to like the god sleep in the first Odin or the first Thor, where he was like, where he sleeps to recharge himself.
He was so upset with Loki. He had to just sleep it off.
Yeah. I don't know. Part of me is like, I don't get why Odin had to die. Yeah, I do love Anthony Hopkins, but I do love him as Odin, but I just didn't get why he had to die. Like,
well, I think he didn't want to come back and do this one. And then he saw the script and then agreed. Yeah. So it might have been like one of the terms of the deal. Doesn't mean they can't bring him back, for any way they want. But
I would have rather that they had said like, oh, he didn't get to do his god sleep in the right place, so he didn't get to recharge, and Loki's spell basically prevented him from, recharging the way he was supposed to, and that's why Hela got free or something. But yeah, I don't know. I like Anthony Hopkins, and it's too bad that he didn't reprise.
He's
Odin
great as
anymore.
Odin for sure.
Yeah, but he's great in this scene. I love how serious he is. He's definitely like weight of the universe on his shoulders, and now I'm about to give you bad news because now that weight is yours type of like feeling.
Yeah. when Hela shows up in that black bodysuit and like the dark eye makeup and the black hair, and I'm not gonna lie, that awakened something in me.
You and a lot of other nerds.
Oh man, she looked great. And I thought I liked it. I thought it was a bold move to have her destroy Mjolnir.
Yes.
And is that I assume is not in the comics either then?
No.
Okay. Mjolnir's still in one, I mean, I guess it gets put back together in Ragnarok, but.
Yeah, in like pieces. Ragnarok. Or not Ragnarok, Love and Thunder.
Yeah, sorry. This is Ragnarok.
Yeah.
What do I want to say? Oh, I thought the green screen was really bad here, though. It was like very, very obvious that this was not filmed on location.
Oh, I don't know. It wasn't, I mean, maybe the version I was watching wasn't that bad, but it didn't seem too shabby for me.
Although I didn't actually look to see that it wasn't filmed on location. I'm just assuming because it looked bad to me.
Are you talking about the portal effect when she was
No, just like
green bubbles?
When like Thor and Loki and Odin are standing around talking, it just looks like they are in front of like a backdrop that's has Norway projected on it. So I don't know. Maybe it was just lit weird or something. I don't know.
Honestly, Loki's hair in this whole movie is so distracting to me.
Oh, it looks so good though. It's like long and greasy.
Is it a wig? Yeah, what is it? Is it a wig or what? Is it his real hair? Like,
I don't know.
It was like there was just something so different about it from like the other movies that like I couldn't stop. Like, what the heck is up with your hair?
I thought it looked good. So,
yeah.
I noticed it.
It looked too perfect, I think, and that's why I thought it was just like,
maybe. So Loki and Thor try to Bifrost it out of there, but of course Hela tags along, and then she manages to knock Loki out of the Bifrost and then Thor before they get back to Asgard. And when she arrives at Asgard, it's not Scourge at the Bifrost gate, it's Volstagg, who she then kills, followed by Fandral.
Right. I'm sad about Volstagg. I could care less about Fandral.
I just had almost the exact same note. Like, why did they even have them in the movie? That was their only screen time, was that they got killed.
But yeah, I don't know, but I feel like they didn't know. Nobody knows what to do with those guys.
Yeah, I mean, it is. The more characters you have, the harder it is to write. Yeah. But yeah, I was bummed that Volstagg got taken out immediately, but then like Fandral, Zachary Levi's Fandral anyway, got killed, and I was like, fuck that guy. Although, why couldn't they have brought back Josh Dallas for this?
Oh, he was done filming.
Yeah, right.
Was it Once Upon a Time? But
yeah, I guess maybe Zachary Levi could have sued or something. I don't know.
I feel like James Gunn would have been able to pull off something pretty decent with Lady Sif and the Warriors 3 as part of like, sidekicks of Thor.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody, I guess, like, from Thor 1 to this, they've sort of just been tag-alongs, really.
Yeah.
In the butt of the Renaissance Fair jokes.
So Thor lands on Sakaar, a garbage planet, and it's surrounded by wormholes. And here he's caught by a slave trader called Scrapper 142. She subdues him with what's called an obedience disc, which... I'll get into that in a minute. She subdues him with an obedience disc, and she then sells him as a gladiator to the Grandmaster who rules over Sakaar.
Not gonna lie, I hated that obedience disc thing.
You hated it?
Yeah, I mean, it just, like, I don't know, like, everything about, like, Thor doesn't seem like he would have been, like, a tiny little thing like that would have shocked him, you know what I mean?
I agree with you. I think if you can accept it, then it works for the movie, but it was hard to accept. I agree with you because Thor is so strong. The other thing I thought was weird was as the movie goes on, it seems like there's like one remote for all the obedience discs, and the Grandmaster trusts Scrapper 142 with it.
Right.
So, but I don't know. For the economy of screenwriting, I guess it works okay. Also, obedience. I don't think they say obedience disc ever in the movie.
It's just a little thing that they throw on him.
Right. So, but there's a deleted scene where they're talking about it, which is how I knew it was called an obedience disc.
Yeah.
Tessa Thompson is great here as Scrapper 142. I don't know if we mentioned that other than up top. I also really like the design of her ship where the ramp comes out kind of like as the two conveyors that come together Like, I don't know, that's something about that I thought was really cool.
I think design-wise, in general, this movie is amazing.
Oh yeah, like I think that part of what I love about the movie is the set designs, the costume designs, the sound design, like everything about the design of the movie is great. And I think for the most part, the story and the plot and the characters is very good. But like, I'm gonna show my hand here a little bit. When I got to the ranking part and I was like, oh, we usually talk about, our top scenes. I was like, I don't know if I really have top scenes.
Really?
Yeah. So we can discuss that in a little bit.
Yeah.
So she shows up and scares off, starts fighting the, I don't know what you call them, the guys who are trying to.
Just the other inhabitants of Sakaar.
Yeah, the other inhabitants. Yeah. And she's like,
he's mine. So if you want him, you go through me.
But we've already got him.
All right, then. I guess I go through you.
Right. She's pretty badass. And then she does, right? She has that cool, she's got the cool gun remotes on her arms, so she can just kind of like point her arms at people and gun them down. That's pretty sweet.
That was a pretty sweet scene.
Yeah.
And she's drunk the whole time when she kills
Oh,
everyone.
yeah. Yes. Yeah, she's like falls off the ship at one point.
Yeah.
Back on Asgard, Hela is taking over as the quote unquote rightful heir to the throne as the goddess of death. When the Asgardian army won't bend the knee, she basically slaughters all of them. And while this is going on, Heimdall sneaks into the Bifrost router and steals the sword that controls it.
This scene, I was sad to see Volstagg go, and I was really sad to see Hogun go.
Yeah. Okay. So that was one of my questions.
Tried so hard.
I wasn't sure if that was Hogan at first.
Yeah.
But I was pretty sure.
I only remember this super vividly because bad parenting. Emmer, my kid and I were watching
exactly
this.
What you're talking about?
Yeah, she was. I think she was like. No, she had to be like 4 at the time.
Yeah.
4 or 5. And we were watching it, and I was like, "Oh, I totally forgot this scene was in here." And she had like the biggest crush on the Hulk for a while because of this movie, because he's just so funny. But like, I totally forgot that this scene was in it. And so when Hela was doing her thing, just stabbing everybody with knives coming out the ground, I was like, "Oh, look, she's putting them to sleep." That's how you go see when they go to sleep, they lay down and they go to sleep. They don't talk. They don't talk. Everyone's quiet. I'll try to play that off and keep her. I mean, down the line, I'm sure we're going to watch this and she'll maybe remember that whole scene. But,
like, I thought they were just going to sleep here. They look dead.
Right. Yeah. Because I remember panicking going, "Oh, she's literally stabbing them. I forgot she's going to like slaughter all these guys."
Yeah. Yes.
So,
I remember, I remember you telling me that you watched that with her.
and I was like, "Oh, bad parenting 101.
Yeah. Oh man. I've had a couple of things here. I thought it was really cool when Hela like brushes her hair back and the helmet horn things come out.
Yeah, that helmet is awesome. I mean, it looks ridiculously heavy, but it's like that in the comic books, and seeing them actually do it in the movie and pull it off.
It looks unwieldy, but it looks awesome.
Yeah. I mean, the big horns on Loki's big ass horns are pretty unwieldy looking too.
Yeah. But also cool.
Yep.
I didn't care for the flying rowboats. I thought that was kind of dumb, but also it comes back in Love and Thunder, and I guess I was okay with it there. So I don't know.
You're okay with it in Thor, the first Thor, right?
I feel like I didn't notice them in the first or second Thor.
They're in in the second Thor. That's how they escaped.
Oh, they jumped onto Fandril's flying rowboat.
Yeah.
I was
when the spaceships were chasing them.
I was probably complaining about Zachary Levi. And I don't know how many other things.
In Thor 2.
Yes.
Hey, they had black hole grenades. That's all.
Yeah. That is pretty rad. I do like the black hole grenades. So Thor is introduced to the Grandmaster in his palace. Scrapper 142 gets paid 10 million units for bringing in this new challenger for the Contest of Champions. So in order for him to win his freedom, Thor will have to defeat the Grandmaster's current champion. We also see that Loki is already there and has found favor with the Grandmaster. Did that chair ride that Thor takes, to meet the Grandmaster remind you of the start of Space Mountain, or was that just me?
Not really, because wasn't Space Mountain pretty dark?
Not at the beginning.
Oh, maybe.
At the beginning, you're kind of going through like a 60s sci-fi, lot of red and white and blue lights happening. Like you're going through kind of like a space station almost, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. It did make me think of like that very 60s vibe, especially the dialogue where like, welcome to the Grand, like all of that whole thing.
You're about to meet the Grandmaster in 5 seconds. Yeah, that whole thing was great.
Yeah. The Grandmaster's cousin also getting the melty stick.
Yes.
That was like, it's funny because like, I think that's why Jeff Goldblum's character, like you know that he's like really powerful in some way because he's just manhandling everybody also.
Yeah.
And like somebody like Thor doesn't even scare him. Like I think he knows he's an Asgardian. I think he has to know because he knows that Scrapper 142 is Tessa Thompson is an Asgardian also.
Does he know?
But he's not scared of them at all.
I like also how he keeps calling Thor the Lord of Thunder. He's a God of Thunder.
Yeah.
Speaking of Scrapper 142, we find out here that she brought in the last champion, the current champion, and then we find out later that that's Hulk. But I was kind of wondering, how does she manage to do that? But I guess she's friendly with him, so did she just talk him into it?
No, she also threw the obedience disc at him.
I just feel like that wouldn't work on Hulk at all.
That's probably why they didn't emphasize that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's even harder for me to believe than on Thor.
So this is a weird amalgamation of several storylines. One is the World War Hulk, where the Illuminati of superheroes sends the Hulk into like a portal to try to get him away from Earth because they're just scared that one day the Hulk's going to lose it and no one's going to be able to stop him, right? Yeah. So the Hulk actually lands on Sakaar and he's pissed because he watches a video of Reed Richards basically saying, "We did this for the good of humanity. Please understand, we are your friends. We love you, but we're just too scared of what happens when you go out of control." And he's pissed at them, but he's like, whatever, I'm here. And he makes a life for himself on Sakaar. And he even gets a wife. He has a kid and everything. Yeah. And then that's where he meets Korg. So Korg and Meek and everybody, those other guys who are on Sakaar, they become his friends. Something happens where I think the power plant of his shuttle explodes and it kills almost everybody.
Oh man!
And then that pisses him off, and then he heads back to Earth, basically just super pissed, and he just wants to beat the crap out of everybody, and he totally does without even trying because he's the strongest he's ever been and the most focused he's ever been because he blames them for killing his wife. So like all of that, like this is such a weird mix of that storyline plus like I think original, like a lot of original writing and stuff. And I totally forgot where I was going with that, but
that's all right. I thought it was interesting. I like the little Avengers 1 callback when Thor sees Loki.
You know this, you call yourself Lord of Thunder.
God of Thunder.
I've never met this man in my life.
He's my brother.
Adopted.
Right.
That was good. In addition to calling Thor the Lord of Thunder all the time, I also like how the Grandmaster can't remember. So you're right. He does know he's from Asgard because he keeps saying Asperg.
Yeah, Asperg. I don't think Jeff Goldblum's even tried. He's just great as like this quirky character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, you can't do that on purpose. You kind of have to be like that. So Thor gets thrown into a holding room where he is befriended by Korg, which is basically a talking pile of rocks, and Meek, a large insect with knives for hands. I like it when Korg is introducing himself and he's like, "You don't need to be afraid unless you're made of scissors." That was one of the lines that did land for me.
Yes.
And then he's talking about he tells Thor about the contest of champions, and he's like, everybody who fights the champion perishes. He's like, take Doug for example, and it's like this dead creature or whatever. And then Thor says,
Fight him, win, get the hell out of this place.
That's exactly what Doug used to say.
See you later, new Doug.
Yeah, that's such a good scene. I love the circular prison too.
Yes. Yeah,
and
it was
Korg
cool.
just waited for him.
It was interesting. I appreciated how they made it unnecessarily complicated almost. I don't know if that's the right word, but like it's a circular prison. So, if you walk around it, you're going to come around, but he like jogs off screen and then immediately comes around the other way. So it's clearly some kind of time or space warp happening there. And Korg is like, nothing makes sense here, man. Yeah. So I like that. Like it was totally unnecessary, but I like that little flourish. That was cool. So on Asgard, we see that Hela's been entirely left out of Asgard's history, and we get the real story, how she was Odin's weapon in the conquest that built Asgard's empire. Then she was banished because her ambition outgrew Odin's. Then she uses the eternal flame in Odin's vault to raise an army of dead Asgardian soldiers that were buried beneath the palace, as well as this giant wolf beast named Fenris, which is pretty cool looking.
It's weird because there's I think in actual Norse mythology, Fenris does exist, but there's also an actual serpent. And I remember thinking before this movie, it's like, oh, I wonder if they're going to, because it's Ragnarok, I wonder if they're going to actually bring that serpent into it, because that serpent was actually supposed to usher in Ragnarok, I think, from what I remember of like Norse mythology. It's just interesting how all of this ties into, how well all of this ties into like Norse mythology type stuff.
So according to the older covered up history, right, she like knocks down the ceiling or whatever, and you can see where things had been, I don't know, plastered over or whatever.
Right.
And there's pictures of her fighting. She used to wield Mjolnir. So was she worthy at that point? Or is she just like so powerful she can wield it anyway? Because I mean,
Mjolnir didn't have that spell on it until.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Until Thor won, when Odin was pissed off at Thor for being so petulant.
It's a great point. That wasn't really that was a possible gripe. Actually, I had that listed under. So I guess that is not a gripe.
At least in the MCU.
Yeah. Right. Back on Sakaar, Thor recognizes a tattoo that Scrapper 142 has, which identifies her as a Valkyrie. Thor reminds her that she's been sworn to protect the throne, but she doesn't want anything to do with it. She's living her life now. So this is not really a complaint, but it was potentially confusing, I think. They refer to her character as Valkyrie, especially a lot in the subsequent movies, but she is one of the Valkyrie, not the Valkyrie, right? Like there was a whole army of them. We see them. So that naming kind of seems weird to me. And I did look into it a little bit, and I guess her, in the comics anyway, her Asgardian name is Brunhilde.
Yeah. And she's blonde in the comics.
Okay. Well, I'm okay with her being Tessa Thompson. But so anyways, I'm going to continue to call her Scrapper 142 or 142 throughout, because I think it's confusing to say Valkyrie, because sometimes we're talking about the group versus her.
The Valkyrie, right? Which is the group. And then there's Valkyrie, which is her, because she's the only one left.
Yeah.
That's how I think of it.
Okay. I like it when Loki like hologram visits Thor in the holding cell. I feel like in this movie, Tom Hiddleston has really figured out the Loki character at this point.
Yeah.
Like it's dialed in. He's really good here.
They do a bit of the Spider-Man Homecoming thing too, where he like throws the rock and he's like, "You're not even here." And then later, he throws it.
Yes, at the end,
"I'm here."
He's like, "I'm here."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a nice little moment at the end there. So Thor is forced to compete in the Grandmasters Contest of Champions, and it turns out it's against the Hulk. He does get the upper hand by managing to summon lightning without Mjolnir, but then the Grandmaster zaps him with the obedience disc and lets Hulk win.
I love the story behind that whole he's a friend from work, that whole thing about how that was somebody not on set had actually come up with that.
It was
so awesome.
It was like a Make-A-Wish kid or something like that. Yeah. That is a nice little moment. Story.
It's the best line, and they use it in the trailers and everything. Yeah, it's just so good.
Hey, we know each other. He's a friend from work.
This scene was so funny to me just because like he's bracing himself for this champion that kills everybody, and then he's like, "Holy shit, I know this guy."
before he even goes in to fight him, we get the Stan Lee cameo where he's playing the barber who gives Thor a haircut. I really like the haircut. I think it looks good. I mean, his long hair also looked good. When Thor sees it's Hulk and he says, you know, we know each other, it doesn't work. And Hulk's just like, no Banner, only Hulk. Okay. And so I think that's some of the most speaking he's done yet in the MCU, right? Certainly later on in later scenes in this movie.
Right.
I also like how Loki is not thrilled to see Hulk.
The look of shock on his face.
Yes, yeah. And then when Thor tries to do the sun's getting real low, right? And then Hulk thrashes him like he did to Loki in the first Avengers, and Loki's like, "That's how it feels." Oh, that was great.
I was actually waiting for you to see if you're going to bring that up, because that was one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Was the, "Hey, big guy, sun's getting low," and then Hulk is just like, "Seriously?"
Yeah,
just like grabs him and manhandles. Oh, that was just so well done and so funny. Because for a while there, it looks like it was gonna work, and then it's just like, "Oh, you're not Scarlett Johansson."
Yeah. A further complaint about the obedience discs. I feel like after Thor kind of went crazy with the lightning, shouldn't that have ruined it? Shouldn't that have like just destroyed that obedience disc?
That's what I was saying. Like, either the obedience disc is hella powerful, or like, I don't know. It just seems like it should have been shattered once they let all that power hit like Thor and the Hulk.
Right. I don't know. But I guess, I mean, it wouldn't have, then what would they have done with the movie? So on Asgard, the common folk aren't falling in line for Hela. So she makes Scourge her executioner to execute her vision and people. When they realize that the Bifrost sword is gone, they send the reanimated army to round up the resistance fighters. And Heimdall has a pretty cool scene where he saves a bunch of the resistance fighters and brings them to a secret underground area where there's a bunch more Asgardians gathered. I really liked the axe that Hela gives to Scourge as the executioner. It's pretty good looking axe there. And I like how Heimdall continues to be awesome.
Yeah, I just always feel like they never do enough with Heimdall. Such a waste of.
No, that was my complaint as well. He's not in the movies enough.
Yeah, Idris Elba's great as Heimdall. I like him a lot. Like killing him off in Infinity War, man.
How did he die? Oh, he dies at the beginning of Infinity
War. Very beginning,
right?
the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yep. Do you have anything else on that scene? I don't.
No, I didn't really care for it too much, honestly. It was like an in-between thing. I still have my issues with Scourge.
Yeah.
And it was a nice like break from like, I guess, Battle World or from the Sakaar stuff. Like elsewhere, here's what's going on Asgard.
Yeah. Well, they didn't drag it out at least, so.
Yeah.
So since Thor technically lost the fight, he's still enslaved. Hulk tells Thor about how he got there in a Quinjet and even points to it out in the scrap heaps of Sakaar. Thor tries to convince Hulk and Scrapper 142 to help him save Asgard, but neither one of them is willing at this point. And then Thor telepathically communicates with Heimdall, who tells him that the Asgardians need to evacuate and that they need Thor's help. Yep. There's a lot going on here.
Yes, especially the Hulk in a hot tub thing.
Yes,
there's definitely a lot there.
That scene is pretty great. I get what you're saying now. Thor got an eyeful there, huh?
Yes. That was such a good scene.
Yeah.
Did you see the bed in Deadpool?
Yes. I didn't see it while I was watching Deadpool, but I happened to see some article recently that was like, Kevin Feige confirms, or it was like a picture of somebody. Somebody was like, a picture of that scene, that thing from Ragnarok that was in, and so I checked that out, and it's like that big skull bed. I feel like I just mumbled for a minute straight. Yeah, I saw it, but after the fact.
No, I saw it. That was one of the Easter eggs I saw. I was like,
okay, nice.
All the little things that they're just throwing in here.
Yeah, that's a nice touch. I like it.
Yeah.
I like the line Thor has to Hulk, where he says,
"How long have you been like that?" Like what?
Like this. Big, green, stupid.
Yes.
I also like their whole conversation is pretty good, but where Thor's trying to get Hulk's help, and he's like,
This is what friends do. They support each other. You're Banner's friend.
I'm not Banner's friend. I prefer you.
Banner's friend.
I don't even like Banner. I'm into numbers and science and stuff.
there's a funny part where Hulk calls Thor baby arms.
Like the banter here, and then like later too, when Banner's like, "You don't even like me. You just
Yes.
want to use me to get to the Hulk." And he's like, "That's not true."
Yeah, yes, I have that in my notes too. It's great.
It's like the reverse.
Yep.
It's like it's those little things that just like always make me crack up. Even like at the mention of them, it makes me like crack up. What I also like is that in this movie, it's especially like the desperate hero's journey that Thor's on, and he's just like, I think in the very beginning, he's like, "That's what heroes do," and he does it again here, trying to look cool and just being like, "That's what heroes do," and then he's trying to look cool, and then he like knocks himself out with the ball he throws, trying
Oh
to
yeah.
trying to break the window, and it just bounces and like beats him in the head. He's just trying so hard, and he's desperate for help, and nobody's helping him, so he's just still gonna try anyway. I love that heart.
Yes. So when Thor is telepathically communicating with Heimdall, which, I don't know why he can suddenly do that, but whatever.
We need you.
I'm working on it, but I don't even know where the hell I am.
You're in a planet surrounded by doorways. Go through one.
Which one?
The big ones.
This is like that giant portal in the middle, which we'll learn the name of in a bit.
Right.
Did you catch? I don't know. Maybe I was being overly critical, but it seemed like Chris Hemsworth's Australian accent slips out quite a bit in this scene.
A little bit more than
Yeah.
it did in the other ones, I think. I kind of assumed that it was because of the environment where everyone's just kind of joking around. Well, like at least that's what I remember reading from about the set. Everyone's like, everyone's having fun and saying lines, and everybody was like ad-libbing a lot of stuff.
Well, one of the things that I did catch before I turned off the commentary was he said something like 80% of it is ad-libbed or something. Like, that's a lot. I don't know if he was exaggerating, but
I think that was what some of the other actors and actresses said too, which was why they thought it was so fun, because it was like
I just don't know how they could have made a cohesive movie like this if 80% of it was ad-lib. I guess it's just the dialogue they're talking about. Obviously, like the plot points are written out, but I don't know. I guess it worked. Thor and Hulk argue, and then they talk it out, and they have a little bit of a heart-to-heart. Thor gets Hulk to help him speak with 142, who gives him the 411 on how Hela went hella crazy killing the Valkyries who tried to stop her. Then Thor picks her pocket and gets the remote to disable the obedience disc, and he jumps to the window and escapes. You're laughing already.
I was repicturing that's what heroes do, and then they throw the ball and it bounces and hits him.
Heroes don't run away from their problems. They run towards their problems. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was thinking in my head that the slow motion scene was probably unnecessary.
Which part was slow motion?
All the Valkyries getting killed.
Oh, yeah. That was very, very Zack Snyder-y.
Yeah. I was like, oh. It kind of worked for me at the beginning, and then I think because I've been consuming too much Snyderverse type stuff in my seal to just bag on these movies, it was just unnecessary for me to see again.
I thought it worked fine, but I haven't been torturing myself with those horrible movies that would remind me of.
Yep.
I mean, stylistically, I think it works, but I would assume it was also cheaper than filming a much longer full battle scene.
Yeah.
When they're having when Thor and Hulk are having the argument, Thor tells him, "We call you the stupid Avenger," and Hulk says like he's the tiny Avenger. Then let's see, they basically take it all back, and Thor says, "You can't go around throwing shields at people. You could have killed me." I was like, I don't think that would have killed you, dude. You would have been fine. So I don't know. Maybe he was just being dramatic. I don't know.
No, I think it's one of those, it might have, because nobody has an idea of like the upper level of strength that Hulk has.
I guess, but I feel like the shield would have flown apart when it hit Thor. I don't know.
But maybe it's made of adamantium. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah,
could have killed him. Okay, sure.
Did you like the psychoanalysis stuff going on? It was like, I feel like there's like a fire burning
Yes,
inside me.
yes.
Just like the back and forth.
We're the same, you and I. We're just a couple of hot-headed fools.
Yeah, same. Hulk like fire, Thor like water,
Well, kind of both like fire.
but Hulk like real fire. Hulk like raging fire, Thor like smoldering fire.
That's so funny.
It's pretty great. I also like the part when Thor pickpockets. I'm assuming this is when it happens, but when he pickpockets Scrapper 142, he like touches her arm and she's like, "Don't get familiar," and she holds the knife up to him, and he kind of like gently pushes the knife down and then she's bringing up another knife with the other hand at the same time. That cracked me up. Do you have anything else on that part?
No, just chuckling to myself because I just remembering these scenes is just so great.
Yeah.
And then he breaks through the window.
Yes, and escapes, and Thor finds the Quinjet, followed closely behind by Hulk, who then wrecks the ship because he doesn't want Thor to leave. And it's more in a panic. It's not like he's purposely ruining it to keep him from leaving, but
Right.
Hulk turns back into Banner after accidentally triggering the recording of Black Widow's last message to Hulk as he flew away near the end of Age of Ultron. And the Grandmaster puts out an APB bolo for his champion who's gone missing, stolen away by that Lord of Thunder.
The whole like strongest Avenger
Yes.
thing cracked me up.
I knew you were going to say that. The voice activation. So good.
Man.
Yeah, Thor needs to do voice activation on the Quinjet. He tries God of Thunder, and he tries Strongest Avenger twice, right? And then finally he tries Point Break, and that works.
Doesn't he sigh too before he goes point break?
Yes, I think so. But that's another nice little Avengers 1 callback.
Yeah.
And then later when Banner does the voice activation, the computer's like, "Welcome, Strongest Avenger," just to rub it in even further.
So good.
I thought Mark Ruffalo, I mean, I never thought that he was a bad actor by any means. He's a very competent actor, but he was really convincing here when Thor breaks it to him that he's been Hulk for 2 years.
Yeah.
Like just his level of confusion and like trying to process that after having, just turned back into Banner. I thought that was done really well.
Yeah. Because his last memory was looking at the ships in, what do you call it? The ships out over, wait, no, was it? No, it was Age of Ultron.
Wasn't it when it was Age of Ultron and Black Widow's talking to him, and they have like a nice little conversation. And then she's like, "I need the other guy," and pushes him, right? Yeah. And I actually don't have this in my notes, but I just remembered it now. When he plays back the video of what happened of him on the Quinjet, and it's like, it's Hulk kind of panicking on the Quinjet, and you see Mark Ruffalo's face reflected in the computer screen, and then then Hulk's face in the video comes up and like matches it right up to it. I thought that was kind of cool. A little nice artistic touch there.
They do that quite a bit, I feel like, in the MCU.
They did it in not really the same thing, but a similar thing.
Captain America was like one of the first ones.
What happened there? Oh yeah. In the Winter Soldier run, right?
Yeah.
When he's in the museum. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great point. I was thinking of in Spider-Man when he sees his reflection in the water. It's not exactly the same thing, but similar.
They did the cartoon too. The one of the Spider-Verse ones.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thor and Banner talking, and Thor's trying to bring him up to speed on what happened. He's like,
Quite a lot's happened. You and I had a fight recently.
Did I win?
No, I won easily.
Doesn't sound right.
Well, it's true.
Yeah. The Thor version of things is hilarious.
so the Grandmaster sets Loki and 142 on getting Thor and Hulk back alive. On the way out, those two briefly fight, and Loki grabs her head and sees the memories of when Hela killed all the Valkyrie. I like the way that worked. Loki sees that tattoo that she has, and he says, "I thought they all died gruesome deaths."
Right.
And she's like, "Choose your next words wisely," in a very threatening manner, which I thought was pretty awesome.
The only thing confusing me by that is that's not one of his powers. Like he doesn't.
Yeah,
read people's minds by just touching them.
I don't remember him doing it before, and I don't remember him doing it after either. Although he doesn't live very much longer. Although I guess there's the TV series and all that. But I wish we could have got so he does the thing where he grabs her forehead, and we see, like you said, that slow motion scene of the Valkyrie basically getting slaughtered by Hela.
Yeah.
I wish we'd gotten just a little bit more information though on how Scrapper 142 is the only Valkyrie that didn't get killed. They show in the scene like Hela's throwing one of her her swords that she conjures or whatever.
Right.
And another Valkyrie jumps in front of it, but I don't feel like Hela would have been like, well, I'm all out of swords. I gotta go home now.
I think it's at least from the memory, it looked like she also was supposedly, from Hela's position, she thought that she had skewered her too.
Oh, okay. 2 birds with 1 sword.
Right. So, I don't know if it was because she was under everybody's dead body, because there was like a ton of them attacking her at the same time.
Classic way to avoid getting killed.
Right. And so she just got buried under a bunch of them and didn't make it out or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that. That makes sense.
But the guilt of her surviving, the survivor's guilt ate at her.
It's real. It's a real thing.
Yep.
So speaking of, she now decides that she's going to help Thor save Asgard. Loki says he can help them steal one of the Grandmaster's ships because he has the codes and combinations because he's been close with him. And he will do that in exchange for safe passage off Sakaar. Thor 142, Banner, and Loki liberate the other gladiators who are led by Korg and Meek to start a revolution. What were you laughing about?
I feel like somewhere in here was when Scrapper 142 just looks at Banner's like, there's something familiar about you.
Yes.
And then he's always like, I feel like something.
Yes, I love that. I love that dynamic between them. They do it a couple of times. Like,
yeah, they do.
I feel like we know each other.
Right. And then when he finally goes like, I'm the only one that can fix this, and then he jumps, and then like he actually turns into the Hulk.
Right.
And the look on her face like, oh.
Yes. I also like it here though when they're doing the like, you seem familiar, and then I think she turns to Thor and she's like, who is he? He's like, I'll explain later. And then Brandon's like, who's she? He's like, I'll explain later.
Yeah.
I think it's let's see. So there's a part where he's worried that if he turns into Hulk again, that he may never turn back into Banner, right?
Legit worry.
Yes, absolutely. But then Thor tells him he needs his this is what we were talking about before, where he needs his help to fight Hela and save Asgard. He's like,
Wait, you're just using me to get to the Hulk.
What?
It's gross.
What? No.
You don't care about me. You're not my friend.
No, I don't even like the Hulk. He's all
Really?
like, smash. I prefer you.
Thanks.
But if I'm being honest, when it comes to fighting evil beings, he is very powerful and useful.
Yeah, Banner's powerful and useful too.
Is he though?
Then he say something about like you've got 2 PhDs.
yes, yeah, or he's like, 7 PhDs. I think he says, yeah, and then that comes up later when he needs him to fly the ship. He's like, I don't know how to fly a ship. Use one of your PhDs. And let's see what else is funny here. Oh, Thor tells him that they're gonna go through the big portal, and Scrapper 142 is like, the devil's anus. He's like, I didn't know it was called that when I picked it.
Yes.
And I love this. It's so funny. This is another one of like totally unnecessary things, but worth having it in there. When the Grandmaster's talking to the other Scrapper, I never got her name. But like he's it's not exactly a Scrapper. It's like, I don't know. I always thought that she was her chief of staff. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. But she was dressed similarly to Tessa Thompson, so I assume she was also a Scrapper.
Revolution? How did this happen?
I don't know. But the arena's mainframe for the obedience discs have been deactivated and the slaves have armed themselves.
Oh, I don't like that word.
Which mainframe?
No. Why would I not like mainframe? No, the S word, the S word.
Sorry, the prisoners with jobs have armed themselves.
Okay, that's better. That's better.
It's just the way that Jeff Goldblum phrases everything too.
Yeah.
That, like, makes it just so much more like, oh, like this guy, this is legit how this guy thinks.
Yes. Totally. Did you catch? We get a good look at the Grandmaster's Temple. If anybody wants to look at the movie themselves, it's 1 hour, 28 minutes, 21 seconds. You can see a Hulk face amongst the others. Do you know what those other ones are? I even got a picture for
I
you.
only know one of them.
I'll be
and
impressed
that's
if you
Beta
know
Ray
any
Bill.
of them. Okay, Beta Ray Bill is one of them.
The one on the left is Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah.
And then the Hulk is the clearly the top one. But
Yep.
Beta Ray. Everybody keeps saying that, like, oh, they're going to bring Beta Ray Bill into the MCU, but I don't know that they'd ever do that. He's such a hard. He's like this alien race, and he looks like a horse that has a helmet for the most part, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know how people would take that. That might be a little bit too much.
Yeah, so you got Ares at the top right, Bi Beast on the bottom right, Man Thing bottom center, and Dark Crawler bottom left.
Oh, I'm surprised Man Thing would be there, because Man Thing's like, I mean, he's basically Swamp Thing, I think, for the MCU.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know any of those characters. I didn't even know Beta Ray Bill, but I thought that was interesting. So Thor and Loki fight their way to the Grandmaster's ship called the Commodore. Loki again attempts to betray
His pleasure
Thor.
cruiser.
Yes. That also leads to a funny...
Did you catch the comment about the controls?
Yes. Loki tries to betray Thor again, but Thor had anticipated this and incapacitates Loki with an obedience disc. Then Thor, Banner, and 142 escape through the wormhole to Asgard and the Commodore. Meanwhile, Korg and Meek and the Rebels are going to steal the Statesman, which is the Grandmaster's big, huge spaceship, and they end up taking Loki with them.
Send help. Yeah.
Yep. Yes, that was
my favorite. Probably my favorite scene in the movie.
Is it send help or is it get help? It's send help, isn't it?
It's send help. Yeah.
I thought it was get help.
No, I thought it was send help. I thought it was like because he's throwing his brother.
Yeah. I mean,
but I just like the whole like, let's do send help, and it's just like, no, I really don't like that.
Yeah.
It's
like, oh, come on. Yeah. So the get help or send help is where Thor pretends that Loki needs help to distract these guards, and then he throws Loki into them and knocks them all down.
Oh no, it is get help. You're right.
Okay.
Oh God, it's so funny.
I do have a small gripe here. Thor rightfully didn't trust Loki, and took him out with the obedience disc when he tried to betray him. But Loki was the one who had the codes to the Grandmaster's stuff. So how did Thor steal the Commodore? Because Loki hadn't like unlocked it for him or something.
But I think getting there, wasn't that
maybe?
Like,
I guess maybe the codes to get in. Maybe that was it. I guess that's a good enough explanation. I really like the chase scene through the city too before they get to the Devil's Anus. Valkyrie was being pretty badass.
That's why, to me, even though Jeff Goldblum's Jeff Goldblum, he's like this. If he's able to control and keep somebody like Scrapper 142 in under control, right?
Yeah,
and like subdue Thor and the Hulk, he's a pretty powerful entity altogether. Despite his whole appearance of his cavalier appearance and behavior.
Yeah, I mean, I think he definitely, if not having like physical power, he definitely has power in terms of power over people. I can't think of the right word for it. Not political power, but
influence. But
influence. Yeah, that's a good word for it. So Thor, Banner, and 142 get back to Asgard, where Hela's forces are attacking Heimdall and the Asgardian citizens. Pretty much everyone fights. Then Loki, Korg, and Meek arrive with a bunch of other gladiators to help. And this is where Banner hulks out and fights Fenris, the wolf dog. The wolf beast.
Yes. And that's when Valkyrie's face goes, oh.
Yes. I figured it out.
Yes.
I like when 142 gets her Valkyrie uniform back. Yeah. That unlocked another kink for me.
Was it the cape? Cape did it.
Just the whole thing. It looks pretty cool. We talked about where Banner jumps out of the ship and kind of splats on the Rainbow Bridge for a second before he actually hulks out. It was pretty good comedic timing.
Right. Because you're expecting him to do the superhero landing and just be like the Hulk when he lands.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
That's what happens in like the first Hulk movie when he jumps out of the helicopter, right? He jumps out as Banner and lands as Hulk. Oh no, he does.
He falls through the floor.
Right. It does. Yeah. That's right. You're right. My bad.
Because he does oh shit when he realizes he's not changing.
Yeah. I guess it makes sense that it took a while for him to change here.
Yeah. I think it's funnier because in the Incredible Hulk, he falls through the floor, and you're like, oh shit. But then you don't see him transform and stuff. But here, he just like bounces. He just bounces on the Rainbow Bridge, and I think that's the funny.
It was a pretty good bounce.
Yeah. Also, the CGI on the wolf on Fenris, just like going, what the hell was that supposed to be? Was pretty good.
I like when Thor and Hela are fighting. She's kind of got him on the ropes, right?
Yeah.
And he has a vision of Odin, and Odin has the line,
"Are you Thor, the god of hammers?"
Which I thought was pretty awesome. Like, that's a point well made. It seemed a little weird to me though that he was able to wield the lightning in the fight against Hulk without having to realize that he doesn't need the hammer, right?
I think that was because it was a fight or flight situation where he was getting his face pounded by the Hulk.
I guess it's a little less violent here, but
yeah. Well, he's only going to get stabbed, right? He just lost his eye. Yes, no, he lost his eye. Wait, when did he lose his eye?
I don't think he quite did. It's in this fight. I forget if it's before or after I forget if it's before or after that vision of Odin saying, "Are you the god of hammers?"
It's before that. Yeah.
Okay, I somehow skipped over that.
They should have just kept him one-eyed the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, as funny as it was, the origin of that eye.
Oh yeah.
From Rocket. Yes. They should have kept him with the eye patch. I thought he looked pretty badass with it.
Yeah. No, it looks great. Well, so actually, since we're talking about his eye, I did have a gripe here. I think it's cool when she takes out his eye, right? But it was like she hit him with a sword, right?
Yeah,
and it just looks like it's burned.
It looked like he scratched it. So I mean, I guess
it was weird.
I guess
to me.
that would be a little bit traumatic for people watching if like there was the jello of the eye.
Yeah,
with a
I mean,
slice
I
into
figured,
it,
yeah, it's PG-13. We got to do that. But I don't know. I feel like she should have done something different. I'm not sure. And also like just in general, like the quote unquote missing eye. At some points, it just looks like he has black eye makeup on and he's keeping his eye closed. But that's those are fairly nitpicky gripes. I did want to go back. What were we talking about with the God of Hammers? Oh, so when we had the are you the God of Hammers line, it didn't occur to me till this watching that he's the God of Thunder, not the God of Lightning. But I guess you don't get like you have to use lightning to make thunder, and God of Thunder. I think God of Thunder sounds cooler.
Well, thunder comes after lightning,
right?
But
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like he can make thunder by making lightning.
But thunder's the scary part.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right.
Yeah,
that's the part that makes dogs bark and whimper.
That is true.
During a storm,
and children cry.
Yes.
There was also, I like the part that Odin said about Asgard is not a place. It never was.
It's the people.
Yes. So I thought that was a nice touch there. I mean, it makes sense for what happens later. And this is where we get the immigrant song again. And that's pretty cool when he comes jumping down, like spraying lightning everywhere, whatever, under the Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah.
Did they play the immigrant song in Deadpool and Wolverine too? Because I feel like
I think so. I
don't
remember it. Yeah.
When I was making my notes here, I had that. I was like, man, I feel like I saw this recently, but I wonder if it was just from the beginning of this movie.
I think it was definitely in the beginning of the movie.
I watched about 2/3 of it, and then a week later I finished it. So that was probably it. Okay, so Thor realizes only Ragnarok can stop Hela. So he sends Loki to place Surtur's crown in the eternal flame to bring about the event. Then Surtur destroys Asgard, killing Hela, and pretty much everyone escapes on the Statesman.
And the effect of Surtur, actually, I'm cracking up because I'm remembering Korg again. He's got good foundation, and we can rebuild, and then there goes the foundation.
Yes. when the whole place blows up. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that cracked me up so much.
Here's where we get Scourge's redemption too. Like at one point, he ditches the Executioner's axe and kind of sneaks onto the Statesman, the escape vessel, pretending to be like a regular citizen. But then when the undead army attacks the ship, he steps up and he's got Des and Troy, which, as much as I think the names are dumb, he had them, and he fights off the army, and then ultimately Hela kills him. But I was glad to see him go out like that instead of, as a coward or fighting for the wrong side.
Yeah.
I also, when Loki goes to get Surtur's helmet and put it in the fire, I like the look that he gives to the Tesseract when he's walking by it. Like he just it didn't occur to me till this watch though that he took it.
Oh.
Because he has it. Like that's why Thanos
came after them.
Yeah, it comes after them. That's how he gets the Space Stone. I don't know how Thanos knew he had it.
The other Infinity Stones.
Maybe I'll remember maybe it'll be explained when we get to Infinity War, which is not far from now. It's in like 2 movies.
I'm kind of sad
because the good part's going to be over. The best part's going to be over.
Kind of, yeah, right. Yeah, like the best parts of the MCU or not end completely, but like my favorite parts of the MCU are Endgame and before.
I think I agree.
Yeah,
but
Deadpool wasn't completely wrong.
So I did have. I don't know if I even call this a nitpick. I was just like, this doesn't make sense to me. Surtur is brought back by putting his helmet crown thingy in the eternal flame. Huh?
His eyebrows.
Yeah, basically. In the eternal flame, and that just brings his whole body back. So it seems like he is in the helmet. I'm not sure, like, how do you knock the helmet off of him then? Like, I don't know. The whole thing didn't make sense to me. It's like, if you knock the helmet off of him, then he disappears?
I thought it was you extinguish the fire somehow, which when Thor swings his hammer in a circle, like you can create like those tornadoes and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just assumed he did that too. I mean, it's a lot of conjecture that isn't supported anywhere by the script, but I assumed he put the fire out, and that's basically and since Surtur was already weak because he wasn't powered up by the eternal flame, he was easy to beat. But now that he actually was powered by the eternal flame, that makes him like nigh unbeatable.
This is
like
why
even Hela not able to beat him, right?
This is why I need you on the show.
My educated educated guessing.
Yeah.
Or what does Deadpool call it?
Shoot,
or Wolverine called it.
Yeah, it was. What was it? Oh, it was like educated wishing or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, so aboard the Statesman, Thor is now king. He and Loki reconcile and decide to take the Asgardians to Earth. And then there's a mid-credit scene in which they are intercepted by a large spacecraft. And there's a post-credit scene in which the Grandmaster is then confronted by all his former subjects. We talked about Thor's eye patch. I thought that was really cool.
Yep.
And we talked about this before too, kind of, where they're talking and Thor's like, if you were here, I'd give you a hug. And he throws the top of a bottle at him or something like that, like a bottle top.
Yep.
And he catches it and he's like, I'm here. I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people on that ship and I don't know how much food they have. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter because they're about to all get wiped out by Thanos, or a lot of them are about to get wiped out.
But I mean, who knows? It's the Statesman. Maybe it has a warp drive engine. Maybe it can generate wormholes and travel to Earth super fast.
There you go. Explaining everything again for me.
No, I mean, just like, remember Guardians of the Galaxy? 500
700 jumps or something. Oh my God.
700 jumps. I'm sure the Statesman can do more than that, probably.
Yeah. So yeah, and that mid-credit stinger, it's Thanos' ship, but I guess you don't know it yet. You don't really know that until the beginning of Infinity War. I think it looks a lot like Ronin's ship, which would make sense.
The Dark Asteroid. I think it was. I thought it was Ronin's ship, or
I thought
not Ronin's ship
ruined,
exactly, but
same design.
Yeah, because he had given Ronin that ship. Because Ronan was
that
kind
makes
of an
sense.
outcast.
Yeah.
Remember?
I just assume that Thanos' ship would have been bigger. I mean, I think that it is bigger, I guess is what I mean. So, but I think it's a similar design for sure. And the I like the post credits scene when the Grandmaster crawls out from all the rubble and all the rebels or whatever are there surrounding him, and he declares it a tie. That's great.
So good. Jeff Goldblum, man, he does so well in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, he was perfect for this part.
You can kind of see, like, I didn't even know that he was like the Collector's brother until you said that. Did you get that from like
I think it was from Wikipedia. I had heard it before too, and it makes sense. I mean, they have like this similar lip thingy,
and the mannerisms are really similar too.
Yeah, so they're both really weird.
Yeah, so it totally makes sense. But I think Jeff Goldblum just nails it so much better for me.
It's a better part for sure. It's a better character.
Yeah.
No shade against Benicio del Toro, but I would much rather see a lot more of the Grandmaster than the Collector.
Yeah.
All right, do you want to move on to changes we'd like to have seen, or you have other stuff?
I think I mentioned all the changes that I kind of thought that were kind of bugging me. Like Scourge just still didn't do it for me. I love Carl Urban, but this character is not one of his best, and it's not his fault like at all. Scourge is actually scary strong in the comic books. So to see him basically just this guy with an axe and kind of just a minion was kind of like lame for me. But it was the rest of the movie. I was able to kind of look it over.
I'm trying to think. The Chronicles of Riddick, I think, is the only.
He was there. That's right. He was the guy he was one of the guys.
That's the
there.
only character I think that he's played that I like less than Scourge that I can think of anyway.
Oh no, I liked him. I liked Scourge less than that guy.
Oh really? Yeah. Well, I don't know. I only ever watched that movie one time, so
it's not one of the best series.
No, I love Pitch Black, but I didn't think they need to make it into a series.
Yeah. I just keep remembering Tandy Newton in that movie and just being a super conniving wife.
Yes. Anyways, for me, I would say I would like to see that beginning reworked a little bit to not try so hard. I know you liked it, but a lot of it didn't land for me.
Yeah.
That's basically it. It's not a perfect movie, but it's very well executed. And we've mentioned before, and I'm probably going to say it again here in a minute, but the design of everything in terms of visuals and sound in this movie is phenomenal. I love it.
So good. Yeah, even from the very beginning when they do that riff and then the Thor Ragnarok from the Bifrost Gate.
Yes.
Like opening, like that music blaring was so good.
Yeah. I gotta just listen to the soundtrack. See if that's probably something good to work to.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, like, I don't know, like everything from like get help scene, I still love the opening scene, the Thor and Hulk in the hot tub scene, the Quinjet scene, like all like those four are such like great scenes, and they stand out among like a ton of other great scenes and one-liners and just really quippy banter and stuff. It's such a great movie.
Moving on to ranking the Rotten Tomatoes scores, it sits at 93% with the critics with a 7.4 out of 10 average. 87% with the audience with 4.2 out of 5 average. I can't really argue either one of those. I mean, I feel like the beginning's a little bit more 87%, and by the end it's a little more 93%.
I was surprised that it's higher with the critics than it is with the audience.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with the audience. I don't know. It's weird. But I guess, but if you look at the average score, right? Mm-hmm. The average score for the audience, if you adjust that to be the same scale as the critics, that's 8.4 versus 7.4. So it's like the audience liked it better. It's just more critics liked it than did not versus the audience. That's what's so always weird about Rotten Tomatoes is like, you could theoretically have 100% and have it be like a C+ movie. It doesn't usually happen because somebody's not going to like that kind of movie, right? But
right.
So that's why I'm trying to talk about the average score a little bit too. We started doing that we did that with Deadpool, but it's hard to keep track of all of them. So
I also feel like this one, I think it changed over time. Like a lot of people point to this movie as when Marvel humor kind of started, was at its peak, and then Marvel just didn't stop, and then it kind of jumped the shark from here. And so a lot of people blame this movie as like when Marvel just overdid it with humor.
I just feel like there's not a whole lot of humorous things after this, though. I don't know.
Yeah.
So let me just recap the list quickly. At the top, Captain America: Civil War, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man: Homecoming, Iron Man, Captain America: The First Avenger, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Avengers: Age of Ultron, Thor. I'm going to stop there. I think we are both going to rank it higher than Thor.
Oh, so you're saying you think it's somewhere above?
I'm just saying.
It's in the top half.
We both, yeah, sure, that'll work too. But I'm just saying, like, I think we both agree I like the first Thor movie, but I think that this is better than the first Thor movie, right?
For sure.
So
right.
So there's no need to recap the bottom half of the list.
Okay.
Do you want to go first on the ranking, or do you want me to?
You do it. I'm still thinking through exactly where mine
I'm still
lands.
thinking as well.
You know? I mean, we can let's work our way up from Thor. Like, did you like it better than Ultron?
Well, all right, so let me just recap my thoughts here real quick.
Yeah.
So it didn't quite hold up for me, but that was mostly in the beginning. It's still really good. It's just that my memory of the movie was even better.
Of course, yeah.
There's a ton of funny quips. You even mentioned this like a minute ago. There's a ton of funny stuff that happened throughout that we've skipped over. But also there's some that didn't land for me. Great soundtrack, great design. And I love the look of the film. The movie takes interesting risks by breaking Mjolnir and destroying Asgard. And I think you told me that none of that happens in the comics, right?
Yep.
So, and I thought that destroying Asgard was a good way to resolve the problem with Hela. So I really thought that was pretty clever.
If you get all your power from a place,
yes,
then it makes sense to destroy that place, right?
And like I said before, I don't know if I really have favorite scenes here, but if I picked some scenes that I really like, was Hela showing up, the Valkyrie flashback, and the Get Help scene. I would pick. So I looked at my old ranking because I have been ranking the movies as they come out and I see them. Right. I had it above Spider-Man: Homecoming and below Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 in my own ranking. Okay. After watching this and Spider-Man basically back to back, I don't agree with that anymore. It's not better than Spider-Man.
Wow. Okay.
It's definitely better than Thor 2, and I think that it's better than Thor 1. So I feel like it could be anywhere between Thor, above Thor at number 9, and maybe below Iron Man at number 5. So I guess I would make it number 6 then. So I would say somewhere between 6 and 9 is my thinking. So yeah,
between
you wanted to go
6 and 9. Wow.
You wanted to go through these. Is it better than Avengers: Age of Ultron?
I think so. I mean, Infinity War is really when if the Avengers movies found their step for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I really just. It's funny. I really still felt like I liked when I remember it. I remember liking the Avengers more than Age of Ultron, and I think rewatching it, Age of Ultron earned its place where it is. But what do you call it? I still think that this is better than Age of Ultron.
Okay, I'm unsure on that, but for argument's sake, let's continue up. Is it better than Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2?
If we hadn't seen this recently, I would have said yes. If we hadn't rewatched Spider-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy like really recently, my memory would have said Ragnarok is higher than both. Like you said, it was exactly prior to this discussion. It was right after Guardians of the Galaxy and right above Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So that's exactly where I had it too. That's interesting.
Is exactly that's why when you said that, I was like, holy, that's exactly where I was thinking. And after we discussed this and like I pointed out all the stuff that we both pointed out all the stuff that's been bugging us. I'm in that range with you, but I'm not quite convinced that Ultron is better than it. But I don't think that it's better. I don't know. I'm torn between whether or not it's better than Guardians of the Galaxy 2, honestly. For me, it could be the new 7 or the new 8.
Okay. New 7. So, okay. Yeah.
Which is really weird because I really thought that this was going to be my number. This was in my top 4 of the MCU.
Yeah.
Before we started discussing this.
Is it better than Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2? I don't know. How do you decide that one?
Right? I mean, I love so much about Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
The characters are so good.
The characters are so awesome. Yeah.
And there's so many of them, and they're all well written.
Right. And in this movie, they killed off the other characters that just weren't pulling their weight story-wise.
Yeah, I think I'm going to say it's not. I think I would put it at 8. I think I agree with you that it's better than Avengers: Age of Ultron, but not Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
It's funny because I do, like, right when I said that, I was like, I think I just made up my mind. It's between 7 and 8, and it's the new 8, which would make it the new 8.
The new 8. All right. So this is the new Thor Ragnarok is the new number 8 in our list. And that, of course, means that Infinity Saga Trivial Pursuit Poker is just for fun.
Weird. I really thought that we were gonna.
I thought we were further apart.
This out. Yeah.
I thought we were further apart on it, but apparently not. This is working out too well. All right. I
think it's the rewatching it. I'm very swayed on how powerful my emotions are on that first viewing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that holds for so long up until I rewatch it and I actually put a critical eye to it.
Right.
And start thinking about, hey, that doesn't make sense. Or like, why is this guy even here?
Well, that and like I pause the movie like every 90 seconds and I'm making a note about something. So like I really will get into the nitpicky stuff, but I'm doing it for all of them so that it's fair.
Right.
Anyways, so let's read and then it'll be my turn to bid first.
Hey, let's do Get Help.
What?
Get Help.
No.
Come on, you love it.
I hate it.
It's great. It works every time.
It's humiliating.
Do you have a better plan?
No.
We're doing it.
We are not doing Get Help.
Get help! Please! My brother's dying! Get help! Help him! Oh, classic.
Still hate it? It's humiliating.
No, not for me, it's not.
Oh, man. Okay, I'm ready.
All right. I am pretty positive I have 2. I feel good on 3, but not super sure. I think I'll go 3.
Oh, well. Okay.
Can you?
I'm only confident of 2. So
okay, yeah, I think it's the same. I think it's the same.
Yeah.
Same 2. All right, let me send you. Sorry, I keep. You keep having to read the questions, and I keep answering.
No, that's fine.
Let's see. Let me send you the answers.
Cool. All right. You want me to read it?
Yep.
To Agent Ross's surprise, how fast was his bullet wound healed in Wakanda?
I have no idea. I'm gonna say an hour.
Is that your final answer?
2 days? I have no idea.
It's funny you say that. My answer was 2 days, and it wasn't 2 days. Huh. It was overnight.
Okay.
So, which I guess counts as what, 8 hours?
Yeah. But I wasn't even close.
Yeah. Okay. It's okay. I didn't know that one. What name is not allowed to be spoken in Thor's cabin in New Asgard?
Thanos.
Yes.
That was one of the 2 that I was pretty confident on.
That is one of the 2. Me too. Okay. What is the young Yelena Belova's favorite vegetable?
I have no clue. I'm going to say a beet.
No. I mean, not close, I guess. Green beans.
Huh.
It's in there in terms of like random vegetables for me.
Yeah.
So, all right. What is the strongest substance in the universe?
This is the one I think I know. Is it vibranium?
It is.
All right, sweet.
Yes. All right. This was the random one for me. What do the Skrull and the Kree designate Earth?
I have no clue.
Apparently. You want to take a stab?
What do they designate Earth? I don't even know how to answer that. I got no clue.
I feel like it was either mentioned in Captain Marvel or like Guardians of the Galaxy. But it's planet C-53.
Oh, yeah, I would have Not even come up with planet.
And then I actually wasn't sure of the vibranium one, but this one, what pest is responsible for freeing Scott Lang from the quantum realm?
It's either a mouse or a rat. I'm gonna say rat.
It was a rat.
It was a rat. Sweet.
Yeah.
So that was 3.
So you got 3 for 3.
Nice. Yeah, that wasn't
nice job.
I wasn't positive on the vibranium one. I don't know why. It was just like, it's something else.
Because the universe is huge, and I didn't think it was vibranium. Actually, I was like, my money's on vibranium, but like, I don't know. To me, it would seem kind of weird.
I would have been furious if it was like unobtainium.
No, you know what's wrong? That has to be wrong, because Thanos is like, what I call it, his double sword thing, like cut Captain America's shield in half. Isn't
Captain America's shield a alloy of vibranium though?
Oh, is it? I thought it was vibranium, straight up vibranium.
Or also, what if Thanos' sword is vibranium?
It's like pure vibranium.
Yeah.
But then wouldn't it have done the clanging thing?
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
That Thor's hammer on his shield did.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought I saw somewhere that the Captain America's shield was an alloy of vibranium.
Oh, maybe, and that's maybe
because when I was looking at, when I was annoyed that they're saying that it was an element in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought vibranium was an alloy, and then I was like Googling vibranium alloy, and then I came up with the thing that said that the shield is made from an alloy of vibranium. I don't know if that's in the MCU or just the comics or what, but anyways.
Interesting.
Well, that's it for Thor Ragnarok. Next up is Black Panther from February 16th, 2018.
Oh man, I really hope that the Black Panther holds up as well as I remember it.
I was not super hot on it. I like it. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
But,
really?
But yeah, I'll get into that one. I'm hoping that I'd like it more than I remember. I'm hoping. And I think I might actually. We'll see what happens. If you want to contact us, you can email us at absolutelythebestpodcast@gmail.com. You can join our Discord. There's a link in the show notes. We also have some links there to our socials and a couple ways you can help support the show. The best thing you can do would be to leave us a review. Please help us spread the word. Tell your friends, tell a fella and tell a hella. Thank you for listening and have a great day.
Good one.
Absolutely the Best Podcast is a production of Audio Johnny, a subsidiary of Corporation Johnny.
Corporation Johnny. If it exists, we own it.